Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of Monday, July 14th, 2025. I now call the meeting to order. It's time for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Martinez, will you lead us today?
All right, please stand if able and say with me, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and
To the Republic,
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Anna, will you please read the roll call?
Chair Harlan,
Here.
Vice Chair Zick is absent. Commissioner Rojas,
Here.
Commissioner Klepak,
Here.
Commissioner Andrade,
Here.
Commissioner Dixon is absent. Commissioner Martinez.
Here.
All right, we have no announcements or presentations tonight, but I'd like to turn it over to Director Tai for an introduction.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission and also members of the public. I wanted to take a moment to introduce Martina Carone, who's the city's new Planning and Sustainable Development Manager. Martina will be in charge of the current planning section of the Planning Division, and that's the one that processes most of the development applications that come before the Planning Commission. Just a little bit about Martina. Martina was most recently a principal planner with the city of Laguna Beach. She was with that city for 17 years, and she also was born and raised in Laguna Beach. Martina holds a bachelor's degree in city and regional planning from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and also her master's degree in public administration from Cal State Fullerton. The Economic and Development Services Department is very, very lucky that Martina has chosen to continue her career here with us and with the city of Costa Mesa. And I want everybody, if you could, to join me in a warm welcome for Martina. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Welcome, Martina. Okay, that takes us to public comments. This is for matters not listed on the agenda. Will be heard at this time. These are items that are within our jurisdiction. I'll open the public comment, and if you'd like to speak, please to come to either podium. If you're in chambers or if you're participating by Zoom, use the raise hand option at the bottom of the screen, or if you're joining our meeting by phone and would like to speak, please press *9. Is there anybody in chambers who would wish to speak? Yes. Yep, you can come right up to the podium. Yes. Sorry? Not on the agenda. These are for, just before you jump up, these are for items that are not on our agenda tonight. So if you're here to speak about the public hearing, sit tight. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. Thank you, Martina. All right. Anna, do we have anybody on Zoom?
No, we do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anybody on phone?
No, we do not.
Okay. All right. I will close public comments and take us to Planning Commissioner comments and suggestions. Let's start on my right. Commissioner Rojas.
I have none. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Klepak.
None for me.
Commissioner Andrade.
Continuaré compartiendo las oportunidades que nuestra comunidad tiene de recursos para nuestra comunidad que está siendo afectada por las deportaciones, implicaciones negativas por discriminatorias que están pasando en nuestra comunidad. Entonces me quiero asegurar, voy a hablar a la cámara porque no creo que estén aquí en la audiencia hoy, pero recuérdense que hay recursos como el 211 que uno puede llamar para recibir guías y recursos para representación legal y también por dónde conseguir servicios para alguien que lo necesite. También hay una página en Instagram que se llama OCCR, Orange County Rapid Response Team, que está disponible en esta comunidad para ayudarlos para cualquier necesidad que tenga, si está buscando comida, si está buscando transporte, cualquier tipo de producto o referencias de recursos legales, también está disponible ahí. Again, I'll continue to share this resource in the community. First off, as we see continuous challenges that our Hispanic and people of color community continue to face in the current state of our community, I wanted to make it available that 211 is an essential resource for any kind of legal services or looking for any kind of resources in addition to what's available to them. There is also a great Instagram page called Orange County Rapid Response that can help individuals identify or locate any kidnapped or missing family members within their families, or is just looking for food assistance, rental assistance. So please, I invite, and also it's an open invitation to our community. If you're looking to support your local neighbors and your local community on how you can support during these difficult times, I invite you to check out that Instagram page on OCCR, Orange County Rapid Response. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that information, Commissioner Andrade. Commissioner Martinez.
Yes, thank you. First, I'll just note that there's a city council meeting tomorrow, and it looks like they have 3 items that may have been formally considered by us, so check it out if you are interested. Additionally, tomorrow is, and every Tuesday in July, is Concerts in the Park. They start at 6 p.m. at Fairview Park, so go enjoy a good time at the park. And finally, this Thursday, July 17th at 11 a.m., there will be a ribbon-cutting ceremony at Balearic Park for new basketball and pickleball courts. So go and check them out if you like. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Martinez. I have no comments other than to add to the concerts in the park. So next week, I believe, is Flashback Heart Attack. Following week is Tijuana Dogs, and then wrapping everything up with the Pacific Symphony. So go check it out if you'd like. All right. We are at consent calendar. We have 1 item on the consent calendar tonight. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine in nature and acted upon one motion. There'll be no separate discussion unless members of the Planning Commission staff or the public request a specific item to be discussed or removed for discussion. Items removed will be discussed and voted upon immediately following the Planning Commission action on the remainder of the consent calendar. And are any items pulled by public or staff?
No items were pulled.
Okay. Let's call for the question on the minutes of June 23rd, 2025. Oh, sorry, need a motion first. Commissioner Martinez,
I move the consent calendar.
thank you. Anyone want to do a second?
Yeah, trying.
Okay. Commissioner Andrade, that's fine. Second by Commissioner Andrade. There we go. Now let's call for the question.
That motion carries 5-0.
All right. Takes us to public hearings. We have 1 public hearing tonight. Anna, would you please read the title for public hearing item number 1?
Public hearing item number 1, recommendation to the City Council on a mitigated negative declaration, general plan amendment, rezone design review, tentative tract map, and density bonus for a 142-unit ownership residential development at 3150 Bear Street. Please note we have received public comments on this item. This is a call for any ex parte communications.
Commissioners, any ex parte communications? Commissioner Rojas?
Just wanted to clarify that I did meet with the applicant originally a few years back when it came through. I toured the site, and then recently after receiving this item, I drove the site again, and I drove through the neighborhoods to see some of the different areas that we're going to be discussing tonight.
Okay. Commissioner Klebeck?
I visited the site and the surrounding neighborhoods as well.
Okay. Commissioner Andrade?
Yeah, wrap around the neighborhood, and as well, I did communicate with someone at Meritage about the affordable housing event that is happening next week at the Great Park neighborhoods.
Okay. And Commissioner Martinez?
I'm sure I was at the council screening, and additionally, I attended the Mesa Water Board meeting on December 11th, 2024, when this property was discussed.
Okay. And I had a brief conversation last week with the applicant's representative. I will now turn it over to Mr. Yeager for a presentation of the item.
All right. right. Good evening, Chair Harlan and Commissioners. My name is Chris Yeager. I'm a senior planner here with the City of Costa Mesa. The project before you is 3150 Bear Street. This project site, it is bound by the 405 freeway to the north with South Coast Plaza and Metro Point across. It is also bound by single-family neighborhoods to the east and south. The single-family neighborhoods to the east are primarily single-story, while the ones to the south are two-story. And to the west of the project, across from Bear Street, is Schiffer Park, also surrounded by an additional single-family neighborhood. The project includes the redevelopment of the entire site. It would include 142 residential units for ownership, and this would also include 7 very low-income units. The project includes 20 single-family dwellings, which are only on the south and east property lines, and 122 townhome units, which are buffered by those single-family units in the center of the project. The project includes approximately 93,000 square feet of on-site open space with an approximate 13,000 square feet of additional off-site open space. The project includes a new signalized intersection at the entrance of the project and a pedestrian gate at Olympic Avenue. The project was originally heard by City Council back in September 2024 for a general plan amendment screening. In the screening, preliminary plans were shown to the council and feedback was provided on the plans. Some comments included comments on the orientation of the dwelling units, the lack of sidewalks, and then also discussion about off-site improvements with Schiffer Park occurred. The applicant has incorporated changes into their design to address this feedback, including changing the orientation of some of the townhomes, including sidewalks on all streets. The project, it is subject to ALUC review. So the ALUC committee at John Wayne Airport will be having a hearing this Thursday regarding the project. In addition, the project site, it is located with a Measure K corridor, which would exempt it from any Measure Y provisions. The application includes a general plan amendment to change the land use designation from general commercial to high-density residential. It includes a zone change to modify the institutional and recreational zoning district to R3, multiple family residential. Also includes a design review, which is required for any project with 3 or more dwelling units on residential zones. A tentative tract map is proposed to allow individual ownerships of the units, and a density bonus is requested to provide 122 units with 5% affordable units at very low income levels, and that results in a 20% density bonus. And regarding the environmental analysis, a mitigated negative declaration was prepared for the project. So the general plan amendment would change the land use designation of the site from general commercial to high density residential. General commercial land use designations are intended to permit wide range of commercial uses that would serve both local and regional needs, while the high-density residential land use designation is intended for residential development up to 20 dwelling units per the acre. To facilitate the project, a rezone would be required, and this would replace the AP zoning district with R3. R3 districts, these are intended to promote the development of multifamily rental and ownership dwelling units, again, up to 20 dwelling units per acre. Due to the unique project nature, including a general plan amendment and rezone, a physical analysis was prepared by the Zimmerman Group. It was reviewed by the city's finance department, and it did find that once the project is fully built, it would be a net positive project on the city's budget. The project is subject to a variety of development standards. And it does comply with the majority of them. However, there are density bonus waiver requests for a variety of standards, including the front setback, which requires a 20-foot front setback. The project proposes a range from about 7¼ feet to 45 feet. A waiver is also requested for the individual dwelling minimum lot area. So these are the lots that the detached units are located on. An additional waiver is requested to exceed the two-story, 27-foot maximum height to allow for the townhome units of 4 stories and 52 feet. The project does also request a waiver for the minimum open space and also the townhome private open space. The code requires that any townhomes include an adjoining patio on grade with no dimension less than 10 feet. These unit types are unique in that they are stacked, so that can't be provided. However, they are providing 55 square foot balconies as a minimum. Most of the units have more than that. And finally, a waiver is also requested for the combined parkway width. The project had initially included these parkways, however, they have included sidewalks instead, based on the comments provided by City Council. So the project does require design review, as mentioned before. The rendering on your screen, it is showing the project entrance with both the townhome units on the left and then the project entrance moving right, the detached units to the right of that, and to the right of the detached units, you can see the single-family dwellings in the Lifestyles community. The detached units, all 20 of them are along the south and east property lines, as you can see on the site map circled in red. These units consist of 2 plan types with craftsman and farmhouse architectural elements. These units are proposed to include attached 2-car garages with ground floor living space, and each unit would also have its own private open space in the form of a private backyard. These units include a variety of different materials, including stone, stucco, wood-like siding, flat roof tiles, and traditional fenestration patterns. And each unit is proposed to be 2 stories with a maximum height of 27 feet. 122 of the proposed units are the attached townhomes, and these are spread across 8 4-story buildings with a maximum height of 52 feet. The townhome component is approximately 120 feet from any existing residential unit, with single-family units in between. And they also include modern craftsman architectural elements, including varied gable roof lines, dormer accents, a combination of vertical board and batten siding, multicolored stucco, and the project includes a variety of neutral earth tones, grays, whites, natural wood-like finishes, which results in a modern appearance while maintaining warmth of a craftsman feel. The use of wooden trellis structures and integrated balconies contribute to the layered facade, which provides a breakup of the facades. Traffic and circulation was analyzed as part of the project. The new drive approach into the project is in relatively the same location as the existing drive approach going into 3150 Bear. And then the existing emergency vehicle gate on Olympic Avenue is proposed to be replaced, and a new pedestrian gate is also proposed next to the emergency vehicle gate. This pedestrian gate is intended to be open during Schiffer Park hours, and the intent is to provide more connectivity to the existing neighborhoods to the park across Bear Street. A trip generation memo was conducted as part of the project. It determined that the project would generate less than 50 peak hour trips than the base conditions, and that therefore no traffic impact analysis was required. The project is subject to traffic fees, which will be assessed, and the new signalized intersection is intended to increase safety of pedestrians crossing Bear Street, and also increasing safety of people turning in and out of the project. The project includes 93,500 square feet of public and private open space throughout the project site, and then 13,000 additional square feet of open space in a maintenance agreement area. So that area is kind of shown circled in red on the map and also shown in red in the rendering. This area is meant to be a passive recreation area, and the existing maintenance agreement would cover the maintenance of the area. The image in blue, also circled in blue on the map, is an approximate 10,000 square foot barbecue area and tot lot. This would be made available to all of the residents of the property. In addition, there's every unit does have its own private open space, whether that's in the form of a balcony with the townhomes or if it's in a private backyard with the detached homes. The project is subject to parkland impact fees since it is not dedicating parkland. So those fees would be collected as part of the project and would be used for park improvements throughout the city. In addition, the applicant is providing a one-time community benefit payment of $250,000 for the city to improve Schiffer Park. As mentioned before, the park would also be accessed by the new signalized intersection, and it would also allow for access from the neighboring neighborhood to go through the project to Schiffer Park. The project is proposing to remove the majority of the trees on site with the exception of the Bear Street slope, which will retain the trees. The project is including 186 new trees, not including the screening trees in the backyards of the detached residences. These backyard trees would be planted to replace the existing ficuses, which are overgrown and very unhealthy. And these a better species would be chosen, which will not grow as large. All landscaping is proposed to be drought tolerant, and it will comply with the requirements of WELO. There is also small landscape pockets between each garage door shown on the plans, which will break up the facades of those garages. The project is proposing a tentative track map. This map would allow for the project to sell individual units. It also establishes the easements and layout of the project. And in terms of the density bonus, the project is proposing a base density at 20 dwelling units per acre, which is the maximum allowed on the site, and that would result in 122 units. They are proposing 7 very low affordable units, which would result in a California density bonus of 20%. That would essentially allow the project to develop 147 total units. However, they're developing 142 as proposed. I mentioned the waivers briefly. However, they are also requesting a concession. And the concession is related to the detached unit second-story design. The city's residential design guidelines call for specific setbacks and articulation. However, the sides and rears of the dwellings, though they are modestly sized, it does not include the required articulations. The project did prepare an initial study and mitigated neg deck. This is an environmental document which analyzes the project and its changes to the environment. The document was made available for public comment beginning May 1st, and it went through May 31st. Mitigation measures are related to geology and soil, cultural resources, transportation, hazards and hazardous materials, and tribal cultural resources. This city did receive comments from the California Department of Transportation and Toxic Substance Controls, and additional comment was provided by a resident. Response to all the comments have been provided. So with that, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt the mitigated neg deck and adopt a resolution recommending that City Council take the actions on the screen to approve the project. I'm available for questions. The applicant team is also here, so they can also answer questions.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yeager. Commissioners, any questions of staff? Start with Commissioner Rojas.
I'll start off with a couple of questions. Obviously, what we're looking at is increasing the units and reducing square footage of open area or whatnot, so to get more units in there, right? That's the recurring theme that I see throughout the report. But one thing that jumped out at me was the requirement on driveway width is 16 feet, but he's proposing 26 feet. So in that one, we're going the opposite direction. We're widening the driveway from what is required. Do we have an understanding as to why they're doing that?
Great question. So the required driveway width, as you mentioned, for any project with 2 or more units is 16 feet. However, there's different requirements that are related to fire access. So that's what necessitates the larger driveways.
Okay, perfect. Some of these questions I already know the answers to, but I don't want to make assumptions on. The other one is, I noticed that we talked about, in part of the report, is having a pedestrian access gate that's open during the same hours of the park, but it's on the opposite side of the project. And I was kind of confused by that. Like, why are we doing that? Like, what is the purpose of that, and why do we do it? Is it to promote traffic from the existing neighborhood to be able to have access to the park, or where are we going with that?
So the inclusion of the pedestrian gate, it's proposed to increase connectivity for the existing single-family dwelling neighborhood. If someone in that neighborhood, whether on a bike or walking, wanted to get to Schiffer Park, they'd have to go all the way down to Paularino, go up the street, and then go in. This would just cut the distance, making it easier for them to access the park.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say, but I just, again, wanted to get some clarification on it. And we already talked about the part. That's it. That's all I have right now. Noted. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Martinez?
Of course. Okay, let's stick with Schiffer Park. What are the operating hours of Schiffer Park that the gate would be open for?
Yeah, so just like all parks in the city, they're open from sunrise to sunset.
So is that a variable time that the gate will be open?
Correct.
So like electronic, and then it'll lock when it says that it's sunset, or?
One of the conditions of approval is that the applicants will need to work through a plan for the gate. So the details have not been established at this point. However, the condition of approval would require that the plan is approved by the city before it is implemented.
Gotcha. Okay. General question. This is our third general plan amendment that we've looked at in the last 3 meetings. And if I remember correctly, we're only allowed 3 in a year. So 4? Okay. Do we have any others in the pipeline?
So that's a great question. At this point, we've looked at the schedule coming up, and this year it does not appear that there will be any more coming through.
Okay. Let's get that. Affordable housing. This is a for sale proposal. So what are for sale prices for very low income units?
I will defer that to the applicants.
Okay. Let's go CEQA. Recently, the legislature passed and the governor signed Assembly Bill 130, which exempts various forms of infill housing from the California Environmental Quality Act. Would you happen to know if this project would have been exempt from that requirement?
I do not have that information. This project was reviewed as under the current law.
Okay. Now we'll go to conditions of approval, and I'll start with number 19, which is on page 65. It mentions the affordable units. Does the condition of approval need to specify that it's very low income affordable, or is there somewhere else that we specify that level of affordability?
I believe it's specified in another condition. I can try and find that. But at the end of the day, the staff report attached to the project here discusses the very low, and that's the only way we move forward.
Okay. Okay. On Conditions 24 and 27 on the next page. The end in the brackets says PDF and then a number. What does that refer to?
So that refers to the mitigation measures within the mitigated neg deck. So if you see any conditions with a bracket and a number, that's just calling out that mitigation.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like 25 said bio, so I'm assuming there's a biological thing. I don't know if I saw in there, I control F for anything that that said PDF, and I didn't see anything other than footnotes. So I wanted to understand where those might have been.
Well, I can look into it. Any mitigations should have been copied from the CEQA document.
Okay. I'll keep going with conditions. 28 and 32, both about VMT reduction. Both seem like they're just statements and not conditions. Is there any reason that we're including them?
So again, these have been included as mitigation measures. However, if you would like additional details, the applicant's CEQA consultant is here and can discuss those.
Okay. This one, maybe this is for Public Works. Condition of approval 82, which is on page 77, is the condition for $250,000 to be dedicated for Schiffer Park. And I wanted to see if you knew what the 5-year CIP calls for Schiffer Park.
Commissioner Martinez, with respect to the 5-year CIP of Schiffer Park, it's within the approved CIP plan. We could look back and provide any kind of specifics with respect to Schiffer Park, but this is something that we can work with the developer in terms of what amenities we can provide for Schiffer Park.
Yeah, I was just thinking, if we already have something planned, I imagine it might go towards that. Let's see. Public Works condition of approval 30, which is on page 89. Has them obtain a permit for the traffic signal. So I wanted to ask if they'll be required to have any of our new requirements. I know we have a traffic signal CIP project that has every traffic signal putting up backplates, retroreflective backplates. We're trying to install more leading pedestrian intervals in the city. So will this traffic signal have to comply with those new standards?
The traffic signal will have to comply with what our current City of Costa Mesa standards are,
Okay.
regardless.
Does that include leading pedestrian intervals?
I don't know offhand, maybe our Transportation Services Manager, Paul Martin, can address that question.
Good evening, Commission. Again, I'm Paul Martin. I'm the Transportation Services Manager. The leading pedestrian intervals would be incorporated into the traffic signal project.
Great, thank you.
You bet.
That'll be it for transportation. Thank you. Okay, you gave me a report about trees, so I'm going to ask about the trees. The report shows on page 205 that 7 of the trees that are going to be kept are in poor health. So I wanted to know if, as part of this project, we're doing something about that. Or are we just saying that they're existing trees, it's fine, don't worry about it?
So the trees in question, they are proposed to be retained. However, you may want to follow up with the applicants regarding that.
Okay. Draft CCNRs. on 259 lists out a bunch of easements that are proposed. And I thought I saw in the staff report, but correct me if I'm wrong, that there would be one for like pass-through access for the single-family homes. I don't think I saw that in the CCNRs, but could you point that out to me if it is there?
Yeah, so the draft CCNRs are in a very draft stage. Following any approval of the project, we'll dive in deeply to make sure that they do comply with all of the conditions of approval assessed on the project.
That makes sense. That also explains why on 265, there's a disclosure about train tracks. Man, I wish, but no. So that probably needs to be removed. Okay. To the plans, I wanted to ask about the tot lot. That's just a playground, right?
Correct.
We have standard conditions of approval and requirements for playgrounds in our zoning code. Are those conditions included within what was already provided? I don't think I saw them.
No, they were not included as conditions. However, anything in the development standards, the zoning code, would be required to be followed.
Okay. And yeah, I'll ask you this question. For pedestrian circulation at what I'll call Olympic and Drive D, so next to the pedestrian access gate, some of the plans, like on 102, show the crosswalk being like next to the gate, and the tentative tract maps show the crosswalk being closer to the intersection. So that's like on 152, shows it closer to the intersection. Would you happen to know if it's going to be closer to the intersection or next to the gate?
The tract map is the most accurate thing we have to go off at this point.
Okay. Thank you very much. Those are my questions for staff.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Martinez. Any other questions, commissioners? Commissioner Andrade.
Yeah, we received lots of comment from neighbors or just individuals in the community about safety concerns about the improved crosswalk. So, one, for example, that the additional crosswalk would be too close to the downslope of Bear, concerns about traffic congestion on Bear on, peak hours. So anything you can speak on that to help respond to those concerns?
So the city has analyzed all of these concerns throughout the project regarding the downslope. The engineering division, Public Works Department has reviewed and found that it would not be an issue. There's plenty of visibility. And then regarding the traffic congestion, I do not have information. However, the Transportation Division may have additional information. However, the intent of this intersection was to provide safe pedestrian access across Bear Street.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. That is helpful. And then is there, can you speak a little bit more about the exit out of Olympic? I think if I heard you correctly, you mentioned that would only be for emergencies, correct?
Correct. There is an existing emergency vehicle gate which would be replaced. So the only vehicles going through there would be police or fire in the event of an emergency.
Is there any opportunity to create this as an alternative ingress-egress route for homeowners in the project?
There's an opportunity. However, the project which is proposed is in front of you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The project is not proposed to include vehicle access through there.
But there's a possibility that we can design it, modify it so that it does, right? Because I'm just, again, thinking about mitigating traffic in the area, creating an alternative exit and entry might alleviate that?
It's possible. There would have to be additional analysis and studies.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Rojas.
I do have one more. It came to me as Martinez was talking, but currently there's a gate that controls access to the thing. And on the renderings that I've seen, that it controls access to the site. The rendering that I've seen doesn't have any gate at all, right? That's going to be completely removed. There's not going to be any kind of barrier at all, just open access, come and go to increase the flow of traffic, right?
Correct. The project does not include a gate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Martinez, double jeopardy round? No? Okay. Mr. Yeager, I just have a couple questions about density bonus, since historically it's a rare thing that we have projects that use that state law. So can you just explain the difference between concessions and waivers? And then secondly, just for the public's benefit, all of the waivers and concessions are perfectly acceptable from pursuant to state law.
Sure. Let me dive into that. So basically, density bonus law gives developers various incentives to provide affordable units. Two of these incentives are concessions and waivers. Concession is meant to be used when there is a standard or something identifiable that would require that would need a. Let me start that over. The concession is used when there is something identifiable that would result in a cost reduction for the project. So in this case, they're proposing a detached unit, second-story design deviation, and what the applicant has indicated is that the more simple design would be more affordable to construct and be a more affordable unit in that as well. Waivers are different in that it's not related to cost, it is related to being able to physically fit the allowable units on the site. So the applicants are requesting a waiver to the maximum building height to allow for additional units stacked. They're requesting the deviation to the front setback, one, because of the unique property line, but two, because that 7-foot setback in the northwest corner of the site is less than is allowed in the code. If that 20-foot setback was required at that point, again, there would be less room on the site to develop units.
Okay. If you want
I can keep going?
No. I think that at least answers it
Okay.
enough for me and hopefully for the public. In this particular project, there are 7 units would be deed restricted affordable housing for sale. Are those limited to the attached buildings, or are any of those units going to be in the single-family residential?
So the units which have been designated affordable have not been decided yet. However, all density project units would be required to be spread across all unit types proportionately.
Okay, so that might be a question then for the applicant. I don't have any further questions. Last chance, commissioners, for staff? Okay, seeing none, I will open up the public hearing and first ask the applicant or applicant's representative if they'd like to come to the podium and make a presentation. And when you do, I have 2 questions for you. So first, please state your name for the record.
Hi there, my name is Vanessa Scheidel. I'm with Meritage Homes out of Irvine.
And then secondly, and this is kind of a 2-parter, have you read the staff report and conditions of approval, and do you agree to those?
Yes, I do.
Okay, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, commissioners and Chair Harlan. My name is Vanessa Scheidel, as just stated, and I'm with Meritage Homes. I'll be giving a brief presentation. Chris had a very thorough presentation, so to avoid repetitive, I'll keep it short and sweet and focus here on Meritage Homes as a company. And I also want to take a moment to just thank staff. They've been very enjoyable to work with throughout this process. It's been long, but it's been very helpful to work with them closely, had a couple site visits, and just understand how to make this a viable project. Next slide, Chris, please. A little bit about Meritage Homes. We are a publicly traded home builder and the 5th largest based on closings in 2024. We were founded in 1985, and we have a 40-year history of nearly 200,000 homes built. Our Southern California division, based out of Irvine, is very active throughout coastal Southern California and the Inland Empire, and we operationally focus on market rate homes specifically designed for first-time home buyers. Next slide, please, Chris. We are triple certified through the EPA, and we are known as a leader in energy efficiency. We've built more than 142,000 Energy Star certified homes since 2009. Our homes exceed the state's energy efficiency requirements because of our spray foam attics, which also help with interior noise and fire resistance. We are WaterSense certified, and in 2020, we became the first national home builder to become Indoor Air Plus qualified, which means the indoor air quality of our homes meets or exceeds the EPA's standards of excellence. Next slide, please, Chris. In 2024, was the 12th year, last year was the 12th year that Meritage has been recognized by Avid Awards. Avid Awards is a third-party customer satisfaction surveyor. And more than a developer, we are considered a home builder, seeing the project through from entitlement to construction completion and through home sales, startup, and initiation of HOA board management and customer satisfaction surveys. So we take great pride in start to finish of all of our developments. We are also the 11th-time recipient of the EPA's Energy Star Partner of the Year. And we want to also just make mention of I know I keep tapping ourselves on the shoulder, but we want to keep letting you know that we are we create great products, and we want to recognize our philanthropic efforts as well. We're committed to positively impacting our communities we build. The past 10 years, we've completed Operation Homefront, which is giving away a mortgage-free home to veteran families in need. And Meritage Homes also donates to significant efforts, including combating food insecurity, providing supporting shelter and affordable housing, sustainable forestry, as well as education and career initiatives. Next slide, please. This slide is an exhibit of missing middle housing, which is we would consider our bread and butter here. Higher density is proposed, you can see here in this missing middle area, to spread expansive land and development costs across more homes, thereby reducing home prices for the consumer. These homes are attainable to middle-income households, including teachers, police, and other public employees, nurses, and folks who provide services critical to a well-functioning community. The market rate allows full benefits of building equity to move up in the market and make room for the next generation of home buyers. And the intent of infill housing, such as Bear Street, is to blend into the existing area through compatible design while supporting walkability and the economic viability of nearby businesses. The project is proposing a variety of home types and plans to accommodate a range of buyers, including first-time home buyers. Next slide, please. Here is a visual of I know you already saw some of the renderings during Chris's presentation, but here on the top two exhibits are the renderings prepared for the Bear Street project, and then below the bottom two photos are completed Meritage townhomes. We are in Orange County. Meritage Homes has completed construction of 3-story townhomes in the neighboring cities of Irvine, Huntington Beach, and will be starting construction of a 3-story townhome in Anaheim, Santa Ana, and Tustin. The 4-story stack flats, although a newer product for Meritage, is proposed in Costa Mesa, Anaheim, and West Covina currently. We are familiar with the Orange County market and have studied the 4-story product for entry-level market demand. The stack flats proposed for Bear Street are designed to offer a middle ground between apartments and traditional row home-style townhomes to provide a greater affordability and opportunity for first-time home buyers. From a design perspective, the proposed stack flats buildings have been thoughtfully designed to reduce massing by including balconies, cantilevers, varying roof form, and other horizontal massing breaks. Next slide, please. Similarly here, again, we have pictured in the top slide the renderings from Bear Street of our detached 2-story units, and below those, again, are completed Meritage products in the Southern California region. We've completed 2-story detached homes in Temecula, Menifee, West Covina, Ontario, and other cities throughout Southern California. Next slide, please. Lastly here, I just want to mention that we held 2 community meetings at the project site in April, April 23rd and 24th, I believe. Both were well attended. We had the opportunity to meet with neighbors and people in the public. Council members stopped by. Chris was there, so we were able to, explain the project. We had all of our consultants there go over concerns, questions that the nearby community and neighbors had about the project. We understand that there is some concerns related to traffic, privacy, density, but we do also want to share that there was a number of interests from surrounding neighbors about purchasing homes at the site too. So we believe that the housing proposed by this new community delivers the type of missing middle for sale housing that is needed in the region and to offer the benefits of home ownership to Costa Mesa residents. Thank you. I'm available as well as my other colleagues from Meritage and consultants, technical consultants who have worked on the project as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Scheidel. Don't go anywhere just yet. Commissioners, any questions of the applicant? No?
Oh, sorry. Can I answer some of the questions actually that were presented? I think Commissioner Martinez, I have a couple answers for you. Regarding the arborist report, we understood that staff would like to see as many trees existing on site preserved as possible. We went through the arborist report and identified all trees on site. The trees that can stay in place are just obviously range in type and I guess how decent they are or not. And so we're okay with removing those trees if that's preferred by the commission, but I just want to let you know that we went through the arborist reports just to identify the certain trees and their condition. Next, there was a question on the affordable unit prices. So very low income maximum sale prices would be determined in coordination with city staff. They'll be equal to the purchase price, which will result in a monthly housing cost to the buyer of an affordable unit, which does not exceed 35% of the 110% of the area median income. The actual very low income sales price shall be determined at the time of the initial sale of the very low income affordable unit to the very low income household. The qualified home buyer would be able to earn up to 120% of the area median income.
Okay. Commissioner Martinez, you have more questions?
I have a few more that I didn't ask previously. Thank you for the answers to the other two. I think I'll skip the one for CEQA first, and then I'll go to I think I might have seen this in the draft CCNR, so this might not be relevant to the project, but is solar proposed as part of this project?
Yes, it is proposed and will complete actually a solar analysis for placement on the roofs of the buildings.
Okay. I think it said in there that the solar, like the systems themselves, would be owned by the owners of the like whoever lives in the townhomes.
Correct. Yes.
So I wanted to ask, like, do the owners of the units that are only on the second floor, do they also get ownership of one of the roof units, even though they're not up top?
Yeah, so actually we had a solar consultant just come to Meritage Homes to do a presentation. So I know a little bit about this now. So with the stack flats, how that works is the panels would be placed and they actually have their own, is it conduits down to the individual units? To the meter. So there would be a panel designated for all of the stack flat units.
Okay. And sticking with utilities, what are the Mesa water requirements for submetering?
Great question. I'm going to bring up my civil engineer, Eric Lissner.
Good evening, Commission and Chair. Repeat the question, please.
What are the Mesa Water requirements for sub-metering?
We've had ongoing discussions with Mesa Water District, and their policies are currently in flux. You may have heard that in your attendance of the meeting in December. They currently have a single meter policy, so each unit is required per their policy to have an individual meter that can be read by Mesa Water. Due to the nature of this project providing 142 individual meters out in the land, meaning taking up landscaping space, is not desirable. And so this project has proposed an alternative solution that we're currently still vetting through Mesa Water. So they said you need to submit plans and then we'll provide formal feedback. So it's currently, as shown on the tentative track map, conceptual and will be worked out as the project advances.
Got it. Yeah, because I've been to a lot of their meetings and they've been continuously discussing this, and I was also in the draft CCNRs. Figured I would ask. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I will go back to the CEQA question, which is why are conditions of approval 28 and 32 there? They seem like statements and not conditions exactly.
Yeah, can I bring up either Charlene or Cecilia to answer this question, please? Cecilia is our CEQA consultant. She prepared the MND for the project.
Good evening, Commissioners. I do not have a copy of the conditions. Would you be able to read it to me?
Yeah.
Commissioner Martinez,
Oh.
I realized these were project design features which were incorporated. They were improperly labeled, so that's why you could not find them. So it will be updated and corrected for any future meetings.
Got it. Okay. I think the question still might stand. It doesn't stand for the other two that I was talking about, 24 and 27, but these two, let me just read one out.
Okay, great.
Well, actually, does that mean it's not in the CEQA?
It means it's a design feature of the project and it's not a mitigation measure.
So I can explain with the project design feature. It's something that the applicant has proactively included. Therefore, it's not actually mitigating any impact, and it's just something that they're included already. So that can be incorporated as a condition of approval, just for enforcement.
Okay. Let me read this one out.
Sure.
Increase residential density. This measure accounts for the vehicle miles traveled reduction achieved by a project that is designed with a higher density of dwelling units compared to the average residential density in the U.S. Increased densities affect the distance people travel and provide greater options for the mode of travel they choose. Increasing residential density results in shorter and fewer trips by single occupancy vehicles and thus a reduction in VMT. I don't know if I see a condition there. Just a statement?
No, there might be something missing from that, because we have that in, as a project design feature in our environmental report. Let me just scroll down to it.
Is the condition just that you have a higher residential density than what's there?
Commissioner Martinez, is this for page 67, number 32? Is that the condition you just referenced?
And the page before 66 on condition 28.
So on 32, your question is, what is the measure that's referenced here?
Yeah, it's both what is the measure
Okay.
and why is it here?
Yes.
I believe that this condition of approval showing the PDF for the project, the project has to be in compliance with the Capicoa handbook. Here, I have it in my notes here, 1 second. And so as part of the handbook has certain measures that have to be applied to a project to meet, to reduce the threshold, I guess, the VMT threshold. And so it's my understanding that let's see here, 1 second. So and correct me if I'm wrong, the California Air Pollution Control Officers Association Handbook for Analyzing Greenhouse Gas Emissions Reductions, Assessing Climate Vulnerabilities and Advancing Health and Equity describes methods to quantify reductions in greenhouse gas emissions in the case of transportation measures. So the handbook has their own measures. The associated reductions to VMT, one measure under the handbook is called, quote, increased residential density, which there accounts for the VMT reduction achieved by a project that is designed with a higher density of dwelling units compared to the average residential density in the US. And so with incorporation of this handbook measure as a design feature, the project's impact on VMT is considered less than significant, and the relation there is because of the increased density at the site because of the density bonus law, if that makes sense.
I think the fact that it's a project design feature makes sense. I don't know if the fact that it's a condition of approval makes sense to me right now. I think for now I'll just say review it, see if you can try to ease my confusion later, but for now I'm fine.
Commissioner Martinez, if I can just chime in on that. Typically in the course of an environmental analysis, when project design features are taken into account in the beginning, because they're proactive, because they're baked into the project, they need to remain as part of the project, whether it's, the method of analysis or whether it's a physical project design feature. Those have to remain as part of the project in order for the environmental analysis to remain sound, and continue to be valid. And therefore, most project design features, if, for example, the higher density of this project as compared to the existing traffic analysis zones in the initial study result in a reduction of VMT overall, then that density as part of the project has to remain, and therefore inclusion in the conditions of approval is appropriate to ensure that it remains as part of the project.
Okay, so Director Tai, I understand the rationale, especially for project design features that have specific performance standards. Yes, it seems a little maybe ambiguous for ones like the ones that Commissioner Martinez cited, just because they don't have, it seems like there's a missing element there. So in this particular case, wouldn't we simply have a condition of approval that says density of the project needs to be X, and we don't need to have these superfluous conditions?
That would probably bring more clarity to it, yes.
Okay, all right. All right, commissioners, any other questions? Commissioner Rojas.
I do, but I'm not sure if it's for the applicant or for staff, but I'm going to say it out loud. I'm going back to the park and the crosswalk, guys. So I'm reading here, and I got to read it out loud because I'm trying to formulate the question here, but it says, prior to submitting the application had proposed various improvements to Schiffer Park in conjunction with the new signalized intersection. These improvements would have been financed by a Mello-Roos tax on the new residents, which would have increased the new resident costs. To reduce new resident costs, the applicant have modified their proposal to provide a signalized intersection without a Mello-Roos tax, and therefore have elected to provide $250,000 to the city in lieu of constructing the park improvements. So my question is, that $250,000, based on the question that Commissioner Martinez had been asking, it made me think that it's going to go towards the park improvement. But this is also indicating that's going towards the crosswalk improvement. So which of the two is it? Is it for the crosswalk primarily, or is it for the park improvements to be distributed and implemented over a 5-year plan?
So the intersection and crosswalk, that is a separate item. That will be completely financed by the applicant. The $250,000, it will go to the city's fund for Schiffer Park improvements only.
Okay, I'm glad you separated that, because it says here to provide the signalized intersection. So I wanted to make sure that language was clear.
Sure, yeah. So initially when the project came in, there was a higher scope, and it would have included that Mello-Roos tax.
Got it.
So in working through finances, working with the city, the applicant had decided not to move forward with that. And instead of applying the Melrose tax on the residents and having them basically finance any park improvements. The applicant proposed to include the cash to the city in addition to
In
financing.
addition to,
And, yep.
okay, got it. Thank you, that's it.
Okay. I have one question. Mr. Yeager, could we bring up a slide that has a facade of the townhouses?
Oops.
We haven't talked much about the project design, or at least the architecture. And my question relates to, yeah, that is perfect. So all of the townhome units have ground floor entrances. Looking at the plans, though, there's 4 different plans. There's pink, orange, green, and blue. It looks like some of them are just a simple stack one on top of the other. The others have a ground floor entrance, and then you basically go up 2 staircases. The living space starts at the 3rd floor, correct? Okay, so it's kind of like a little Jenga puzzle in some cases. My question, I have 2 questions. One is, have you built this before? I think you mentioned Anaheim and West Covina, so are those the similar kind of floor plan?
So the 4-story stack flat is a new product for Meritage Homes. We are proposing it not only here in Costa Mesa, but yes, in Anaheim and West Covina.
And are those also, because forgive me, I didn't look exactly, are those the larger plan units? The ones?
No, sorry, just the 4-story stack flats are proposed in Anaheim.
Right. So my question is, are the larger units the ones that are, I think,
The detached? Or
no, there were 4-bedroom and 3-bedrooms.
Oh, yes, yep, yeah. So we have 16 units of the 122 4-story stack flats would be 4-bed, 3-bath.
And are those the plans that have the 3rd and 4th floor? Or?
Correct. That would be, yes, 3rd and 4th floor.
Okay. All right.
And so as you can see here in this colored description, so the pink and the green would park on ground level and occupy the 2nd floor. The units shown in orange and blue would similarly park on the ground level 1st floor, go up 2 flights of stairs, and then occupy the 3rd and 4th floor.
Okay, so the larger units are going to be the ones where people are going to climb a little bit more up and down. Okay. All right, that's all my questions. Anyone else? Commissioner Andrade.
So in the materials, it states a minimum of 7 affordable units. Is there an opportunity for a maximum? Or is this a flat number? It stays and lives at 7, or is there opportunity, or is there any consideration for increasing out of the 142, making more available for low income?
So the density bonus law requires that a minimum number of units be provided. So that's why that 7 was provided. The density bonus law does not provide a maximum. So theoretically, should they wish to provide more affordable units, they could. The minimum required for the application is 7.
So I guess I know where you're going with this. So in order to keep the cost of the home as low as possible for entry-level home buyers, we're proposing the 5% very low income under the state.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, so basically, based on the numbers that you've been able to put together on the development of the project, 7 is the maximum that Meritage could provide.
Correct. And we work with companies, sometimes such as Habitat for Humanity or other affordable housing, I guess, communities that can potentially purchase the homes and work with them to work with affordable low-income housing families. And so, yeah, we are proposing the 5% very low income in order to keep the price of the units lower.
Okay. And I appreciate you brought up the maybe collaboration with nonprofits that support that work. There was lots of public comment here of local residents that are really excited about the possibility of owning their first home in this property. So I foresee you guys are going to have like a huge spike of interest, or God knows how many hundreds of applications here. So what are your plans to kind of filter through interest? What is the priority or screening level? Like, how do you guys plan to?
Yeah, specific to the
respond?
affordable or specific to all units, I guess, market rate as well?
Both, sure.
So for, I guess, just in general, at this time, we don't have we can't keep an interest list. And so we did field, there was a handful of people at our community meetings who were quite interested. A couple neighbors who have children, grown adult children, actually, who they would love to keep in the city next to them. And so they were quite interested. We've kept their information, and we can contact them once at the time. It's quite early now for that, right? Sure. So we can keep their information on hand. We can add them to a email list, but we can't keep a formal interest list at this time for this community. And then as far as the affordable housing plan goes, so it's my understanding, so for this project, actually, a Ventura County Community Development Corporation, VCCDC, who Meritage Homes has worked with on a number of other projects that have affordable component. They actually prepared an affordable housing plan marketing and guidelines report for the project. And so what they would do, and I'm not super well versed in this, I have some notes I can share, but they prepared the plans, which were submitted to the city for review. And so the plans outline how VCCDC would assist in determining eligibility, loan processing, loan qualifications, and provide down payment assistance or closing costs, if available, for prospective home buying applicants for the affordable units. And so we heard from the city. We haven't dove too deep into this subject, but in conversations with the city, we did understand that, staff could be interested in maybe creating because sometimes they'll do, they have a couple different options on how they proceed with this. That you could do first come, first serve for applications. You could do like a lottery system for applications. The city was interested if there's any possibility of maybe doing, first come, first serve specifically for Costa Mesa residents first. And so those are all opportunities that we can continue to discuss with the city, but there's no hard plans in place as of now.
Well, great. I'm glad to hear that some ideas are out there and that you're collaborating closely with the city to help execute these goals and the high interest that you for sure are going to have. We talked a little bit about traffic lights. Can you share a little bit about the decision not to make Olympic Street an ingress-egress to the property?
I might have to defer to Chris on this one, but it's just our understanding that in, community outreach, there was a little bit of mumble while that was being discussed a little bit earlier in the presentation, but it's our understanding and our conversations with neighboring residents that they are quite opposed to that. They want to limit the amount of traffic going in through their neighborhood. It's my understanding that they wouldn't want cars either driving through their neighborhood, nor would they want cars parking in their neighborhood either. So that's really why the purpose of it's currently an EVA, and we propose for it to remain EVA.
Okay, and I mean just seems the logical, right? Because there's also the high concern on the increased traffic on Bear. So if you want to reduce maybe some of the traffic that is happening on Bear, maybe spread it out. But okay, and you also pointed out the parking, which is another big community concern. But it's very clear in the layouts here that each unit is going to have their own two-car garage. And does that, somewhere in the property, if you can highlight, I imagine visitor parking, any kind of overflow to help mitigate the concerns of the community that, like you said, parking was going to pour over on their sidewalks?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can't really see the guest parking here in this illustrative plan, but in addition to every unit having a two-car garage, we also include 35 guest spaces, and these would be designated for guests and not for overflow parking.
Okay, thank you for that. I also had a question about solar, but I thank you for covering that. It's really great to hear. Now, are there, as a kind of the lead developer on this project, what are your thoughts about collaborating with unions in this development? I think especially with the recent happenings in our community and hearing about illegal hirings on construction sites, farm sites, et cetera. I just want to make sure that we're in the right space to partner with local union organizations to make sure that they have an opportunity to partake into this development.
Yeah, let me, I don't know that answer off the top of my head. I can get with a colleague really quickly here. We do run, so we do a lot of things in-house. We pretty much take it from, acquisition all the way through construction. We have a whole construction crew. I don't know if that's something that is a non-negotiable for us, but I can definitely connect with a colleague here and return an answer for you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Scheidel. I'll give you a few moments
Okay.
at the end of public
I
comment.
had a really quick one, just a really quick one.
Commissioner Peck.
There were several comments asking about a raised footbridge that goes over there to give access to the park. Was that considered?
We actually just saw that comment come in just shortly before this hearing, that that would not be feasible for the project. That would be, I'm not sure what that would even look like, and it would not be feasible for the project.
Thank you.
Okay. I will now open the public comments. If you'd like to speak to this item, please approach either podium. Or if you're on Zoom, use the raise hand option. And if you're joining by phone and like to speak, please press *9. Make sure the podium mics are on. Go ahead, sir. You have 3 minutes, by the way.
3 minutes, thank you. Hi, I'm John Fraser. I'm a over 30-year resident of Costa Mesa in the amazing community tucked between Bear, Bristol, Paularino, and the 405. So we have a vested interest in what goes into to our neighborhood. And what's clear is that the parking is woefully inadequate for this area that has nowhere else to bleed over to. They can't go into the freeway or South Coast Plaza. They can't go anywhere on Bear Street. They can't go into the park. But now we're being proposed for pedestrian access back into our neighborhood. And that's clearly a guise in access to the park. It's really parking, additional parking for the community is what that is. And so we are already stressed in our little community tucked into that area with parking. We have one street on Trinity that has permit parking. We have another street that our neighbors go to unusual efforts to save parking on their street. We have high-density housing on Paularino where folks come over and park on Platt and are on Trinity and on Yellowstone. We have the businesses, the high-volume businesses on the corner of Paularino and Bristol that also their employees or their patrons come over and park in our neighborhood. So we are clearly stressed to the max already with parking, and we cannot have a pedestrian access nor egress into our neighborhood. Really, in all candor, I don't care whether this housing committee or housing project goes forward. This is, these are their problems. The fact that they've decided to build in an area where there's no real area to bleed over and park, that they're trapped in that area is, maybe they need to build less homes in that area. But I vehemently oppose the pedestrian access to Olympic so that it will save our amazing neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Test. Okay.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am.
My name's Marianne. My name's Marianne Chappell. Looking at this site plan that I got in the mail, you can't tell what's a two-story, what's a condo, what's a home. Stacked flats, I never heard of that. I don't know what that is, but I have a feeling it's the four-story monstrosity. So, and the structures in this picture, I'm sorry, I'm like, the structures that are shown in the picture along the Canadian border and I don't know, those homes that are right next to us. I can't tell what that is, if it's garages, units, I don't know. But it's up against the back wall, which is my back wall. Our home is a single story. It's 14 feet 4 inches. We have a cedar block back wall in our yard. It's 8 feet. The site plan doesn't tell us if area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, what it is, if there's a home there or a condo or what. I think we as residents should be made privy to what that is so that we can address it. Residents along Canadian Drive have issues, especially the building heights. 2, 3, 4-story units would block airflow, our ability to look at the sky, and at night especially to see the stars in the sky. We have purchased our property for all good reasons. We want nothing against the back wall. We don't want to block any air or sunlight or anything else for that matter. Our property values would plummet. Anything over 1 story would be too much. Anything against the back wall is definitely too much. You guys talked about setbacks and maximum building heights. I have no idea what you might be agreeing to at our expense. And I would love to know, I think it should be publicized, what waivers are being made and what concessions are being made.
All right.
Thank you for listening and your patience.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm the other side of the Chapel family. Wow, I remember when the church wanted to build a 25-foot wall and the uproar over that. Now these people want to build a 52-foot, 4-story structure. When we purchased our home some 20 years ago, we had a degree of privacy in our backyard. That will completely disappear with this mammoth structure. The next thing to disappear will be our property value. Who would want to purchase a home that backs to a 52-foot structure? You know, I guess I've been naive in my thinking. I thought our elected officials would protect me and the other residents in the area by maintaining at least the status quo. Why not have the developer come back to the table with a plan for a normal residential density? I would be glad to support a plan like that.
All right. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, Council. My name is Darren Ferriola. I live on Tanana Place, one of the 2 cul-de-sacs that backs up against Schiffer Park along with Mackenzie. Like many neighbors, I chose to buy a house on a cul-de-sac because it offers a safer environment, ideal for starting a family. There's less traffic, less noise, fewer unfamiliar cars, and limited access for non-residents, which have all contributed to us having a safer community and a better quality of life. After reviewing the proposal, one thing becomes abundantly clear. There isn't enough parking. As any responsible community planner will confirm, the proposed development is just simply too dense. Tenana Place and Mackenzie will effectively become parking lots. Residents from the development will park on our street, take a short walk through Schiffer Park, and across the new signal. We will have increased traffic, speeding, noise, and litter on our streets with a sharp decline in safety and security. Our sense of community will erode as unfamiliar cars and unfamiliar people flood our neighborhood. Permit parking will not fix this. It only limits the parking during certain hours, meaning cars will just be shuffled around to avoid tickets. And enforcement relies on us residents calling it in and waiting for parking control to respond. Not to mention have to go to City Hall to get extra permits if we want to have guests over. It's an ineffective Band-Aid that puts the burden on us, the residents. I moved from Los Angeles to Orange County for a better life with less traffic, adequate parking, safer neighborhoods, cleaner communities, and less congestion. But when developers develop properties irresponsibly, they slowly begin to turn Orange County into Los Angeles. Permit parking, LA. Streetlights every couple of 100 feet, LA. Overcrowded retail parking lots, LA. Traffic on local roads, LA. Quiet cul-de-sacs used as overflow parking for nearby residential communities, LA. I understand you want to build on that site, but you need to build responsibly. And that means not developing a property that adversely affects the citizens that already call it home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Danielle Owens, and we live in the same neighborhood as Darren does, but we live on Klondike. And our home actually has access from the neighborhood into the park. It's, one of the little sidewalks that go from the park into the neighborhood. We already have people that come and park in front of our house when they go to activities at the park, which is fine because it's a public parking space and it doesn't get overused that often. But at the same time, we're gonna end up with the same situation as the cul-de-sacs do because it's a very easy way to walk over, people are aware of it, and you could just go through the park and go across the street. My question, to piggyback on what Darren said, because I agree with everything he just said, is number one, how is the association, the HOA, going to control people parking in their garages? I know that some associations have rules set up where people have to take pictures of their garage and send it into the HOA's, periodically. Sometimes there is actually a police of the HOA that will go and systematically have to inspect people's garages. And so it's like, okay, what are they going to propose to control this? Because we can say, oh, well, everybody's got 2-car garages. Well, that's great. Everybody's got a lot of storage too. And so that would be my one question. And then my other question would be, I don't know exactly, I should know this, I sell real estate in our neighborhood, but I don't know exactly how many acres our community is, but I know that most of the single-story homes are on 6,000 square foot lots. Most of the 2-story homes are on 6,000 square foot lots, with the exception of a few of us that have bigger corner lots. But we're talking over 17,000 acres was my guesstimate based on 133 homes. And then Lifestyles has about 76 homes, and I believe their lots are about 4,000 square feet. You've got 7 acres plus for that little community. And the one that we're talking about building 142 homes on is only just over 6 acres. It's as big as Schiffer Park. So it just doesn't make any sense to put that many homes on half the size of the acreage. So that's it.
All right, thank you.
Hi, I'm Daryl Oliver. I basically was born in the neighborhood of Schiffer Park that Darren and Danielle were. and I've seen the development of the city. We used to have Bear Street School, where Lifestyles homes are at now. Those lifestyle homes have problems getting in and out of Bear Street today, and now we're talking about putting 142 homes in there. Even with the signal, there's problems with Bear Street. There's problems getting off the freeways. There's problems, as you know, some of our neighbors have said, going down Paularino. We do not have the street capacity for 142 homes and traffic for 142 homes.
All right, anybody else in chambers like to speak? Seeing no one. Anna, do we have anybody on Zoom?
Richard Huffman, you may provide your public comment.
Okay. Yes, I'll get you after this. All right, go ahead, Mr. Huffman.
Good evening. This project is an example of zoning with higher density than the existing area. And this project was requested by Councilman Lauren Camaros, the councilman for this district. There is not a comprehensive plan for the area as a whole. There is no existing zoning or planning that gives an automatic or administrative approval for this new zoning. This project could be slightly less dense with West Side overlay style townhomes, 3-story or 4-story townhomes with two-car garages with no tandem parking. People, you got to realize tandem parking means one car in back of the other in a single car garage width. Now, this project has all kinds of problems. The tandem parking is inconvenient. You've got a 3-story walk up to the upper units on the 3rd and 4th floor. Boy, you better be young to be buying one of these places. 3-story townhomes would only require a 1-level walk up to the main floor and not require residents to live on top of each other. This project is inappropriate for this part of Costa Mesa, south of the 405, in a single-family housing area. Now, who would qualify for the affordable units? Is there preference for Costa Mesa residents? I hope so. And what are the future deed requirements for resale? This project needs to be redesigned, and please listen to what the residents speaking before me have already told you. It's a little overly dense for this area. It's more appropriate for north of the 405 where all the big projects are being planned. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Sorry? Rick Huffman. Ma'am, would you like to speak now? Okay.
Good evening. I'm Liliana Mercedes. I'm also a resident over on Yellowstone, and I agree with my neighbors as it relates to, number one, the safety of the community. As it is right now, we already have issues at the intersection of Bear and Paularino, the overlap already, the intersection overflow there, and to put a signal where we already have motor cops with the issue of the fact that people are racing down the slope there to put an intersection there to risk the lives of children that might be crossing over is a definite no. That doesn't even take into consideration the fact that in the last 2 years we have seen an influx of residents in the high-density housing on Paularino already overflowing into our neighborhood and us not being able to have adequate parking. So my vote would be no.
All right, thank you. All right, Anna, anybody back on? Okay. If you're going to speak on chambers, please come to the podium now because we're going to get to people who are on Zoom or the phone. So if you'd like to line up, please do that. Go ahead.
My name is Victor Porras, and I live on Liard Place, similar as Darren and Danielle. I don't think it's like just slightly too dense, it's grossly too dense. You guys mentioned there's 35 visitor parking spots, and I just questioning whether you're naive to the fact that 2-car garages is not enough. If you're talking about 4-bedroom homes, there's going to be more than 2 cars that are there. So are those residents going to be limited to only parking in their garage? Or are they not allowed to have more than 2 cars? Where are those cars going to go? If the spots that are being designated as visitor only, they're just for visitors, what about the rest of the overflow cars that belong to those units? That's significantly more. 142 units, that you're talking hundreds of more cars. And if there's not a space in the plans to, for them to park, they're obviously going to go find parking at the neighboring streets, which is our neighborhoods. And I purchased my home there because I like entertaining. I like having people over. If I have to then go to the city to get permit parking for my friends to come visit, that's a burden that's placed on us that shouldn't be when they're just not planning properly. So I also would vote no.
All right, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Gary Marshall, live in 3108 Platt Drive. Also been a resident for going on for over 38 years on that property. I saw Lifestyle when it was put in. I also saw when Trinity was built. Lifestyle's a little different, primarily because it's all single families that are in there. Also having to do with the properties that were put in on Paularino between Bristol and Bear Street. We are now seeing overflow parking, and that's why we requested Thursday's cleaning on our streets to remove these cars that were permanently put on our streets on the corner of Platt, Trinity, Yellowstone, where they were not moving. So this is why we push for Thursday's cleaning of our streets. Again, those are overflow cars coming over from the new units that were put in there that supposedly with their CC&Rs, a garage and a side parking next to their unit. But we still have cars now parked on Paularino. Moving over to Lifestyles, that's a little different because they're single families. They have access in and out from left and right. But this, I've seen projects, I've been in mortgage banking for 45 years, retired out of this, but I've been involved with a lot of projects and housing projects like this. But this one is a little overboard with 143 in a small density area. And everybody here sitting in this place knows what Bear Street looks like during the holidays. You can imagine with the amount of traffic that's going to be put onto Bear Street. Lifestyles, when they were put in there was no access into our neighborhood. Olympic, the fence that's there, the metal fence was strictly for emergency only, for fire trucks, police, whatever, to get into Trinity. Now you're trying to make that an easement, possibly to come into our neighborhood. I don't get it. Maybe that's just going to be a shorter way for them to do this, but I was under the impression that that was going to be for emergency vehicles only that come off of the Olympic. Again, the project looks nice, but it needs to almost be cut in half. I understand the builder's design, but it's just over density. I say no.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh, hello, this is Warren Franklin. I actually live on Jeffrey Drive across Spare on the other side. I remember when that property was a moose lodge or something before the church took it over. And I agree with everything that's been said so far, wholeheartedly. Parking and pedestrian, walking from that neighborhood is also, it's just a guise to get, parking. The thing I haven't heard addressed is we have a very small fire department on Jeffrey. I mean, it's a really small fire department there. And I'm not sure I don't know how an EMS person would deal with going up 4 stories if they're having to pick somebody up there in that building, those 4-story buildings. And I just haven't heard that addressed yet either. And so that's really all I needed to add. Like I said, I agree with everything that's been said here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Anna, let's go back to Zoom.
Cynthia McDonald, you may provide your public comment.
Good evening, Cynthia McDonald, Costa Mesa resident. The agenda report should be an unbiased report, but it reads like a flowery sales pitch. The findings that are usually part of the agenda report were buried in the resolution. The claim of consistency with the general plan is contradicted by the multiple concessions and waivers being requested. These condos are for adults without children. Getting a toddler up 1 or more flights of stairs along with a diaper bag and other paraphernalia will be difficult because the cost of most of the units is market rate. Even the 2-bedroom units are likely to have 3 adults living in them, but the tandem parking is only for 2 cars. The 4-bedroom units only have 2-car garages. Except for one of the single-family homes, there's no driveway aprons to park on. So where do the other cars go? The guest parking will fill, so they'll go across the street to Schiffer Park or off to Olympic. The assumed traffic counts fail to disclose the real number of cars entering and exiting the project. Add the real number of vehicles to the traffic coming from the new projects on Sunflower and Bristol, which is another 10,500 daily trips combined. You've got the potential for gridlock on an already busy Bear Street. Unlike the projects in Santa Ana, there will be no bike lane or sidewalk improvements and no improvements to the dangerous bridge over the freeway. Caltrans does not maintain its landscaping, so the ivy constantly grows over the sidewalk, forcing people to walk in the street. Bear Street needs to have protected bike lanes and pedestrian improvements. However, the most egregious element of the project is the taking of city land. The parkway strip next to Bear Street, which is public land, will be converted to the exclusive use of the residents of the project without paying a cent to the city. Because the project is lacking in open space, the developer needs to take the city land, then make the park across the street more appealing to the new residents. At any rate, the city needs to be paid for the exclusive use of its land by the project. The city will never widen Bear Street, so just sell it to the developer. The project generates little income to the city. Less density and more open space would generate more income, as those upstairs units are likely to become rentals, reducing the turnover that would elevate property tax collections. This project needs to go back to the drawing board. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else, Anna?
Call in user 4, you may provide your public comment.
Go ahead.
Call in user 4, it's saying your mic is muted.
Is there anyone else?
Zoom user 2, you may provide your public comment.
Hello? What? Here.
Go ahead.
Hello? Hello? Have you? Okay, I just want to say I'm very disappointed, really disappointed with Meritage, because when we visit them at April 23 or at that date, many of our neighbors right here in Olympic, I'm in Trinity, and my friend is in Yellowstone. We all told them that we don't want the access gate. And yet, they put it in the plan that they're gonna have the access gate. Right now in our neighborhood, we have a lot of problem of burglary. And so we don't like it to have the access gate to go to the other street. We don't want people who are not from this neighborhood to come into our neighborhood to add to the problem of burglary. And how many cars have been stolen? How many cars has been burglarized and the houses have been burglarized? So I'm disappointed that they did not listen to what the neighbors want, that we don't want the access gate. Secondly, city has to come to take a picture of what Polarino is during the peak traffic. I'm coming in from Trinity Drive to go to turn to Polarino. Sometimes it takes me 20 minutes to get out of Trinity to go to turn to Bristol. So traffic is enough. We don't need more traffic. And there's enough speeding. And also, I want to say, city has to know how many people has died in Polarino who are bicycling, who were hit by the cars. What did the city do? You didn't do anything to address the issue. Not only that, it's very dark in Polarino Street at nighttime. We cannot have more people coming in to using the street. Also, I would like to say, when the ESL school is going to be built, they give the city a donation of $3 million. $3 million is to help the city to improve the street. $3 million is to help the city so that there will be bike lane. $3 million is to help the city because of the increased number of the students who are coming in. $250,000 is not enough to help the city. How about more cars? The street would be worn out faster. Right now, Polarino is always, when the rain comes, there's a lot of potholes. Not only in Polarino, but in the neighborhood too. So you want more people? $3 million should be the donation to the city or even more. So I'm disappointed with Meritage.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Call in user ending in 397. You may provide your public comment.
Hi, my name's Erin Gonzalez. I'm a millennial, I'm a renter, and I'm a very proud resident of Costa Mesa. I'm calling to express my strong support for the residential project that Meritage Homes has proposed at the former Trinity broadcast site. What stands out to me about this project is that it includes entry-level for-sale homes, something we desperately need more of in Orange County. For people like me and others in my generation, these kinds of homes provide a real opportunity to put down roots, build equity, and stay in the communities that we love. I also appreciate that the project offers a mix of home types, including flats, which brings more optionality to the market. And the fact that Meritage is providing some deed-restricted affordable units shows a commitment to addressing the broader housing challenges that we face as a state. It also matters to me that the builder has spent over a year and a half working really closely with the city and the staff to design a project that fits in with the other developments coming to Costa Mesa. That kind of collaboration shows respect for the community and a willingness to create something thoughtful and lasting. I know a lot of folks have mentioned parking tonight, and I fully understand that it's a concern, but based on my research, it looks like the project is meeting the city's parking requirements. And honestly, as a young person trying to break into homeownership, I'd be happy to have a tandem garage if it meant I could actually afford to buy a home, especially in a city I love where so many of my friends and family live. This is the kind of housing Costa Mesa needs more of, and I really hope you'll support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, you know what? No comments. Anna, anybody else?
Call in user 1. You may provide your public comment. Call in user 1. You may provide your public comment.
No one.
There's no other commenters online.
Okay. All right, at this time, I'd like the applicants. Oh.
Hello, you may provide a public.
No, sorry about that. I didn't realize I had to push *6 to unmute the phone. I'd like to echo what the other neighbors said, that the project as proposed is too dense. Like, I guess like kind of like the elderly lady was saying, like, 2 stories would probably be better, not to block out so much sunlight, airflow, etc. But also just the heavy traffic impact on the neighborhood, because like Bear Street's basically heavy traffic, like in the holidays and also at rush hour, and then Paul Arena is also heavy traffic at that time too. And so to add like 142 units with, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 people in there, you have 500 people in that tiny area. And like a lady was saying previously, like Paul Arena backs up so much, it's hard to like use Paul Arena during like basically the afternoon, evenings. This would just make the living for people around really miserable. And then also understand the neighbors and agree that we probably wouldn't want the emergency gate to be a street, because like other people are saying, and the crosswalk, that wouldn't be good either, because like other people are saying, it would just turn the existing neighborhoods into parking lots that would be like forever like occupied and like ruin the standard of living or quality of life of people around. And so I would vote no on this too. I mean, at least if they could just go to like one of the elder men was saying like single family residences. I mean, that would be nice if it just matched the existing neighborhood, but single family residences. But that's all I had to say.
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to invite the applicants to come to the podium if they'd like to respond and wrap up your presentation.
Hello again, and thank you. I thank you for the public comments as well. I understand that there is a lot of opposition to the density of the site. I just want to remind the commission and the public that, again, this is entry level for sale homes. The architecture is proposed as is to make these homes affordable for entry level buyers. Not all people trying to attain home ownership can go straight into owning a detached single family home. They would love to, but that's just not feasible for many people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even later. And so I just want to remind everyone that, again, there were comments on the stairs, the architecture. This is for entry-level home ownership for young individuals, young workers, young families trying to start their lives. Most of these homes are attractive to people who are already Costa Mesa residents as well. So I just wanted to say that. Regarding the EVA pedestrian gate, that was a recommendation from staff. Meritage is, we can go with or without it. I would defer to staff for that answer, but that feature was included at the recommendation of city staff. Additionally, regarding parking, again, I just want to go back to the entry-level homes. Individuals, couples, a lot of these people entry-level don't have families yet. They're trying to start their families, but they don't have families yet. So 2-car garages are appropriate for this type of home. In those 2-car garages, Meritage has CC&Rs, and we also have an HOA would be constructed for this development, and there would be requirements in the CCRs for both parking spaces to be utilized by occupants' cars, and there could also be language included in the CCRs that there would be garage checks. That is something that we've done in many of our communities. Additionally, to that point, we have all of our new communities have Meritage employed sales counselors at all of our open communities. When we start the model homes, it's made very clear to potential residents that you get a 2-car garage, it's used for a 2-car garage, it's used for cars, and that the guest parking is specifically allocated for guests. Our garages, the way they're designed currently, they are they're available for not only both the 2-car garages, but there is space in the garages for storage and all waste bins. So I wanted to make that point clear as well. And then just to the point back to the signalized intersection for safety, the point of the intersection, signalized intersection, is for safety, right? So there may be people in existing conditions trying to cut across from existing neighborhoods to Schiffer Park without a crosswalk, without a stoplight. So the point of the intersection and the crosswalk was to slow down traffic and to create a safer environment for pedestrians. I think that is another point related to concerns about fire review. The fire department reviewed all of our plans. They walked the site with us. They're familiar with the development, and they have reviewed all of our plans submitted to date. That's it for our presentation. And again, I'm open for questions. And yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. At this point, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the public hearing. Commissioners, do you have any further questions of staff or the applicant? Commissioner Martinez.
Yeah, for staff, we didn't receive our usual public comment from, I think it's Cal HDF. So could you remind us what the Housing Accountability Act is and what it says?
Excuse me, sorry. So the Housing Accountability Act, it is a state law which basically holds jurisdictions accountable to ensure that they are providing their rightful share of housing. This project is providing affordable housing, which does trigger its inclusion in the Housing Accountability Act. So specific findings would need to be met to basically deny the project, including safety findings.
Okay. Now, can you tell me about our standard CC&R conditions regarding parking?
Sure. So this project, it does include conditions related to the CC&Rs. The condition states that the homeowners associations shall manage the parking and contract with towing service to enforce parking regulations. The CC&R shall contain a notice that open parking spaces shall be unassigned and available for visitors. That provisions require that the HOA submit a signed affidavit to the city on an annual basis that the 2-car garages are being used for vehicle parking by the residences, that they are not obstructed by storage items, including toys, clothing, boxes, equipment, etc., and that the residents must consent to voluntary inspections of the garage to verify parking availability as needed. The CC&Rs would also include provisions prohibiting any storage of boats or RVs on the site, and it would include provisions prohibiting residences from parking their vehicles on Olympic Avenue or surrounding streets within existing neighborhoods.
Thank you. And now, can you tell me, per density bonus law, what is the minimum amount of parking required for the site?
Density bonus law would require that there's 236 spaces on site, and the project is including 319.
So they're proposing more parking than is required?
Correct.
Thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay. Anything else, commissioners? Okay. If not, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Martinez, second by Commissioner Andrade.
I should have heard that, sorry.
Well, why don't we let him make the motion first? And
Yeah, I move to approve the staff recommendation with the, I'll say, request to review conditions of approval numbers 28 and 32, which were the ones I had some wording issues with.
Okay.
Just review them and then update them if necessary for City Council.
Is there a second? Commissioner Andrade. Commissioner Martinez, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I would. I will first start by saying, as ever, we are in a housing crisis, and we quite simply need more housing, and that is what this project proposes. This project proposes 142 new homes for new families for Costa Mesa, for new workers who might have to travel less if they lived here. It's 7 very low-income affordable units. I don't even know if we've done for sale affordable units before. It's the first time, I think, since I've been up here. So that's amazing to see that we're providing that opportunity for very low-income families to be able to own a home. The open space at this site, I think, might just reach 40% if you include the slope, and it also provides improvements to Schiffer Park and access to Schiffer Park that was not previously there, both for residents of the proposed project, but also easier access to Schiffer Park with the pedestrian gate for the people in the single-family home neighborhood. I was looking at Google Maps, and it said that from where the pedestrian access gate was proposed would be a 3/4 mile walk to Schiffer Park, and meanwhile, with this pedestrian access gate, it would go down to about a 1/4 mile. So that's a 60% reduction in the travel distance for people accessing that park. So I think this even improves access to open space with the already existing park for already existing residents. I'm not usually one to talk about home ownership opportunities, but for this, I think I will, because this is, I think the applicant presented the missing middle slide. And that's one that I was very happy to see, because it's something that I've seen a lot in my personal advocacy. And I think it provides a fantastic opportunity for not even deed restricted affordable, but for naturally occurring affordable housing in our community. It means that we have people who don't have the money for the required 6,000 square foot land area for a single family home. These sites are smaller, they're more affordable. It means families that are just starting out, this is going to be a great first home, and maybe they'll move on over to a different single family home already existing that is in the neighborhood. So this site is it's very nice. Regarding the circulation, I'm very happy that the applicant is proposing the traffic signal in front of Schiffer Park. I know the school that was previously proposed, I think right before COVID, they also proposed a traffic signal, which is why there's a curb ramp there that goes to nowhere. But now I don't know if you're going to reuse that, but there's actually going to be that traffic signal in order to get across to the park. And the access, even within the site, the raised crosswalks, I think that's amazing. It doubles as speed limiter and ease of access for pedestrians and safety for pedestrians within the site. So overall, I think that this project proposes something that will be a benefit to the community. I'm very happy to see it. I'm very happy to see what future families will be able to live there, both with the market rate and the affordable, and I'm very happy to support this project. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Andrade?
Yeah, I'll just highlight since the time that we've been here, percent of households in Costa Mesa are renters. That translates roughly to about 25,241 households occupied by renters out of the total population of Costa Mesa, which is averaged or estimated to 108 as of 2023, and the average household is 2.6. So that's, I'm guessing, 2 adults and possibly a young child. The strong renter population combined with low vacancy rates and a high population density contributes to a competitive and expensive rental market in Costa Mesa. So this is what has Costa Mesa trailing behind, meeting, as you heard, the housing accountability expectations that we have for the state. This project is helping address that need, right? We need, as a city, we need to respond to our larger community, right? We've heard that in the public hearings or in the public presentations that individuals are worried about, I want my kid to graduate and come live with me, right? What are we proposing for the future high school students that are graduating from our prestigious schools? Go to Anaheim? Go to Corona? Are we ever going to be in a situation that we want to offer the successes and the wealth and really the fortune and privilege that many property owners have had in starting that generational wealth by having their first time home buying experience? It really would, again, address a need. And I would also echo Commissioner Martinez's comment. This is the first time that we hear first-time home buyer for low income individuals. We never hear that here. Developers come over and over and over talking about beautiful, wonderful projects, but it's never for affordable. It's always affordable to rent, affordable to rent. This is bringing a solution, affordable to buy. I personally would be so privileged to maybe hopefully qualify for this, right? We need to be able to respond to the greater community to provide an answer. Yes, we want you in Costa Mesa. We want that creativity. We want that art. We want that talent to stay. UCI last year put out a study that Orange County in general is experiencing a brain drain. And that's basically people are moving out of Orange County because they can't afford to live here. Plain and simple. People want to, right? We saw this in this dais. We had a wonderful commissioner who, once he got married and wanted to provide for his family, had to move to Anaheim. Even though he grew up here, his family has a business here, went to school here, had to move away because simply they cannot afford it. So again, there's an opportunity also to maybe create a compromise. I'm hearing all the great concerns about increased traffic in Bear. Well, if you don't want it in Bear, we have to figure out a safe route of exit. I understand that I imagine that we need that access in this, Olympic in the back because of fire, I am sure, safety concerns, right? And also I appreciate that the developer is considering putting some of that suggested parking enforcement, making sure that individuals are actually using their garages to park, so hopefully help alleviate. We already heard too that they're meeting and exceeding the parking requirements. So I think it might just be an opportunity to be open to providing the opportunities that many property owners have had, provide that to the generation that is following us right behind you. That's all.
All right. Thank you. Any other? Commissioner Klepak?
Yeah, I like that this project is ownership model. I really like that it's all electric. I know Meritage has for years been a leader in that space in building all electric, which is good for air quality, reduces infrastructure costs. I think my favorite thing about this project is that almost a third of the units are 1,000 square feet, which is entry-level housing. We see a lot of massive condos that come to us, and I could tell you my first condo, my first place that I bought was a 1,000 square foot walk-up that I barely qualified for, but that was the stepping stone that enabled me to move up. So I think this really is missing middle housing that's really needed.
All right, thank you. I will be supporting the motion. My colleagues did a very good job tonight of articulating all the reasons why I support this, and quite eloquently, I might add as well. The one thing I will note is that while I understand the concerns of the surrounding community, I do want to draw your attention to the fact that the perimeter of this property is buffered by single-family residential. I think that's an important design move that at least respects the surrounding neighborhood. So the taller buildings, 50 feet thereabouts, are probably 100 feet or more from the nearest property line. I think that's an appropriate way to design this. And as well, the taller buildings are on bare and at a lower grade. So from a design standpoint, I think this actually has made some good land use moves. I appreciate the architecture, and as my colleagues have mentioned, I mean, we are in desperate need of housing, ownership housing in particular, affordable ownership housing. I mean, that is unheard of. So I'm grateful for what's being proposed here, and I will be supporting this. If there are no other questions or comments, let's call for the question.
That motion carries 5-0.
All right. I will note for everybody here that this item will be before the City Council. We're just making a recommendation, so you'll have another opportunity to speak on this. Okay, we have no old business, and I see we have no new business. Takes us to departmental reports. Mr. Yang, anything from Public Services?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. Public Works has an announcement that the city will deliver an e-bike safety course for the Newport Mesa Unified School District and MSUSD students at Estancia High School on Thursday, August 7th during back-to-school registration event. In addition, OCTA plans to offer a similar event during the second back-to-school registration event on Wednesday, August 13th as well. So that's it for the Public Works announcements, and I'll defer back to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yang. Ms. Tai, anything from Development Services?
Just a brief report that Commissioner Martinez sort of foreshadowed. At tomorrow night's City Council meeting, there were two items that the Planning Commission previously had a recommendation on. The first is Hive Live. The recommendation for that will be a continuance as a result of the applicant's request. And the other item is the Victoria Place project, which the council will hear as a public hearing. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Okay. And then lastly, our City Attorney, Mr. Preziosi, any report?
No report this evening, Chair Harlan.
Okay, I will adjourn the meeting now. Thank you.